Hello, RUSE TFB viewers, and this is the Nation Overview, the thingy I put up, the moderator, YouTube moderator is called, that little suggestion box thing on the webpage. Got a #1 response from this. I think it's 13 likes it had at the yesterday when I last checked it. And we are starting with Germany. Now I'm not recording this, so actually I can't talk about the environment like I usually would. You have Lagmaster to thank for recording it, because I'm running out of space on my hard drive with me doing other little film projects and stuff, but you don't need to know about that. So yeah, thanks to him. Yeah, incidentally, Lagmaster and Brahmanfire are with us.
Oh, so hello. It's me, the Lagmaster.
Schnitzel, yeah. Okay.
And yeah, now I don't really know how this is gonna go. Don't know if any of us do, but Lagmaster did this. Lagmaster put a lot of work into this, so yeah, again, thank him. He made this replay, and we're 31 minutes in, as you probably see. Which means it took my Lagmaster 30 minutes to buy all the depots on the map and then spam admin fields, and
just a small one. In all fairness, not that big.
And then build every single unit in the German arsenal. So, where do we start?
I think we could just go through every single building and all the units out of that.
Fantastic question.
Okay, so let's have a look at the infantry base. I think that's a common building in German's arsenal. So if we tab it, it's a $30 base, which is kinda expensive. Americans is 20, isn't it? And
so yeah, sometimes you really feel the pain from that. I think it's like $30 for barracks, and it's steep.
What's your favorite part about the infantry barracks?
Heavy infantry, for sure.
What do I think the best part about it is?
Yeah.
Is that what you said? Well, of course they have got some of the best AT weaponry of all heavy infantry. I think they've got a Panzerfaust.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's the
Panzerschreck.
Panzerschreck.
Well,
yeah.
the heavy ones.
Panzerschreck, and then of course the SDKFZ is a wonderful little unit, and it works real good. Are we talking in the context of 1v1 guys, or just kind of like?
I think it doesn't really matter. You can give tips to 1v1s and 2v2s.
Okay. Well, hey, you know what? It has recon, and that's what really counts. So you want recon. So
yeah. That's true. The only other place you get recon from with Germany is the Proto base, and their Pumas cost what 30, don't they? Those Pumas, so that's quite steep. But yeah, and I think it's got a perfect selection of recon. You know, you have a decent armored recon, like basically it has.
Yeah, so maybe let's talk about it. So the most basic recon is a Kugelwagen, which costs 10.
Yeah.
It's quite speedy units. It's 47 kilometers. So is it the fastest in the game, or can you get 49? I'm not sure.
No, I'm not sure.
No, it's not the fastest. It goes 47 kilometers per hour. I stand corrected. The Jeep, the American Jeep, goes 47 kilometers per hour as well. So
I think that it's kind of Veloci that goes, because I remember the Veloci can
49, right?
Yeah, it can catch up with American recon. So
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So for a price tag of 10, it's not the most expensive thing out there. So you can kinda spam them, not as much as Willys, but still my preferable recon I would buy of Germany.
Yeah.
And the second option is SDKFZ222. It's a handy unit, although it fails to most of the other recons. It will lose a battle.
Yeah, exactly.
The only reason you should buy it, maybe it's I don't know. I had a couple of games where I drove it into my opponent's base and killed like planes, and building trucks.
One of those.
It's pretty quick though.
You just
39 kilometers.
I thought it was
Yeah.
I thought it was a cool wagon because they show up as light units, don't they? Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
and yeah, I thought it was a cool just driving in my base, and then I had air, and there's an armored beacon at my base, and there's nothing I can do at all.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, if that
One.
catches you off guard, it's like game over because you can't do anything. You would
yeah.
sacrifice a lot to get rid of it if you can get rid of it. Um, but
I
it's
wanted to mention, you guys, the Grenadiers, the Tier 1 infantry. They do on infantry versus infantry targets. They have medium weapons, which do 40 damage. Um, now, it's real important you guys take notice on your infantry units from each faction. The Tier 1 infantry, some of them do only 20 damage to
no,
other
I think that's
infantry, and
like that's
some of them,
usual. So yeah, I think it's German and Italy light infantry that do have medium
uh,
weapons.
And
they do
Japanese.
the mediums, and the Strelkies have light weapons, right? The Russian
Oh, I think
Strelkies.
Americans do have that as well, and
Yeah, GIs
French.
have 20 damage. Yeah.
Yeah, I
I'm
think
not
it's
sure about
just
the
Germany and
FFL.
Italy that have like advantage in the light infantry.
Yeah, but see, this the
Well,
thing is
the
that
Japs
like
as well.
in a 1v1 game, yeah, and the Japs as well, in a 1v1 game, sometimes you could actually get by with just keep using that tier 1 infantry, and it'll suffice and to get the job done for you. But you got to see how it stacks up against the other faction you're playing against. So just a little words to the wise, yeah. So,
Yeah. Definitely a pro tip would be not to upgrade your infantry unless you have to. Of course,
yeah,
if you're gonna spam infantry, you probably want to upgrade because it will be just worth it in the long term. But if you're building like five of them just to be sure, you don't have to upgrade it as long as your opponent is not pushing them because you have clear advantage. It's like twice as powerful unit. So although if you go
right.
heavy infantry, you still get a lot of firepower. So let's have a look at the Storm Grenadiers. Um, so again, a huge Panzer strike damage. Like it's instant death to
Yeah.
any tank, I think. Even level
Right.
5, which is very handy. You can just drop one into the town and it will like deal with most of the tanks. Um,
Yep.
heavy weapons, 80 damage. That's handy enough. Uh, only Guardia is more powerful. They have like 100 damage per second or whatever that unit is.
Yeah.
It's just 80. Yeah. Um,
Yeah, and one thing to notice that the research on German infantry is incredibly fast. Most German research is fast. Well, all German research is fast. And yeah, it's just compared to all other nations. German research in general is brilliant. Like when you've been playing another nation and you just go to Germany and you research something, it's just refreshing. To me anyway. Like,
Yeah, it's like, oh my God, I get a
is it like
tiger
a,
that
yeah.
fast? Wow. Okay, great. You know.
Is it like a 5 second research or?
Oh, I
I
don't
think
know,
it's
but it's too
25
fast. Damn
research.
it.
Yeah. No, it's not too
Yeah.
fast. I think it is a very good thing for Germany
When
because
I'm
their
in Italy,
bases
it's
are
too fast.
so freaking expensive.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
it really hurts when
yeah,
you
they
have to
are.
build another base
Yeah,
for
it
Germany. It's like
certainly makes them very adaptable, but then the thing is your stuff is very expensive, so you have to go for the right stuff, even though you'll get it fast.
okay,
Yeah.
so that's oh, by the way, upgrade cost for a light infantry is 25. So it's
Yeah.
not that much. You should consider that.
Yep, it's cheap.
So moving on to the next base, artillery and anti-air base. So that's a handy base for Germany. Actually, we could talk a little bit about build orders. So, I used to open with infantry base and AA base as a German player when I started playing, because that kind of gives you a good mix of units. You get your recon, you get your infantry, and you get your like kind of AT
Even leaves you a
and
bit weak to tanks.
AA. It's I wouldn't consider it the strongest opening nowadays. I do feel like air opening is the really good potential for Germany. But what do you think, guys? What do you do?
You know,
Yeah, either air or I usually would just go barracks and just sort of almost play like USA and just see what happens. Um, or armor base as well sometimes start with. Usually not, but yeah. Again, like I said this enough times, RUSE is very, very dependent on the amount of information you have about what your opponent's doing, and
Right.
stuff. So.
It's funny, Company of Heroes was a game I played before I played this, and it was very much about cookie cutter opening strats, like weapon support opening with this upgrade or that, and people would plan it out that way and with a particular build order. Ruse, the longer I've played it, it just doesn't seem like that works. At least for
Yes,
one v
I
ones,
can agree. There's like much more
it's
factors, and you can see more
yeah.
into future. Plus,
Well, it seems
in
everybody
Company of
decrypts
Heroes, you can kind
nowadays.
of recover if you do something bad. And in Ruse, if you don't have AA and he's bomber rushing you, it's like game over. It's like nope.
You've got to anticipate the fact that your opponent, if he is a decent player, half skilled player, he's going to decrypt you. If you happen to camo, which you probably shouldn't at this point in the overall metagame of Ruse, decryption, you line up your base with whatever you see being built by your opponent, and you can tell exactly what they are building. There's no secrets, no guesswork, and so I often wait to see what they're gonna do. Sometimes I press forward and I open with a strat like artillery base and barracks like you do, Lagmaster. Sometimes just the barracks and maybe two or three or even four depots sometimes. It's very map specific as well. But you can safely say opening with a barracks is almost always going to be, not a bad idea. That's
Oh,
good
yeah, must for
because you
Germany, really,
have to get the
because
recon with
yeah.
Germany, and the only other
Oh yeah,
choice you
for
have is
for
to
any
upgrade
nations, you
recon
really
out of the
recon
airfield.
dependent. We couldn't
Yeah,
stress it more.
yeah.
Without recon, you're gonna get yourself screwed. And that's harsh truth, but that's gonna get like that. Any town, any woods are just dead trap. If your opponent realizes that you're just playing like an idiot. But okay,
Um,
let's focus on
I,
the nation overview part because we
okay,
have a bit of ground to cover. So maybe later we could get back into it if I have enough hard drive space. So the first and probably most common unit is gonna see out of AA base is obviously Flak 20 to 20 millimeters. Yeah. Um, it's a standard AA unit. It's worse than Americans. In terms of damage, it's only 18 damage in 20. I think Americans is 23. Is it? Am I right?
yes, Americans is 23, correct. Yep.
Yeah, but Americans are OP. So this is like a standard AA gun. Uh, It does damage if you have a couple of those, like 3 or 4, would start doing some serious damage. So definitely one is not gonna fend off a bomber, because like if your opponent's gonna see your AA, it's just gonna attack you from different angles. So uh, probably good for like a frontal AA really, and you could have like planes on sides to engage, and maybe 1 or 2 on sides. I know. How do you use your AA?
I spread it out personally. I like to make it so that no plane can move into my territory without taking hits from some an AA gun,
Mhm.
and
But I
generally
find
then
that
I
to be
have
a bit weaker
planes to
if
back
your
it up.
opponent starts strafing your AA, because
Yeah, it depends. If you're going up against a British player who's going to be using a lot of hurricanes, then you're going to want to concentrate your AA into a tighter grouping so that they concentrate their DPS, their damage on each plane as it comes in. But you don't want them stacked on top of each other because the rockets that come from those fighter bombers will do splash damage, and the
oh yeah, yeah,
closer
big
your
time. I think
AA guns are together,
said
the
that in that boot
more.
camp where you shouldn't really put them like
Yeah.
here in
Yeah,
a
stacks
line.
are bad.
When you
Yes,
select all and click here, they're gonna be in one line. A bomber, hurricane, or anything
that
like
goes
even
with
fighter
most
can
units.
kill 2 of them or damage 2 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway, we better
stacking
speed
isn't.
it up
It,
because this is running long.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sorry.
But